People in prison sometimes lose hope. And my name is Michael Santos. I served 26 years in prison, and I'm about bringing as much hope as I possibly can. And there isn't anybody better that I could feature on this program of hope than Ross Ulbricht. I'll be providing more information about him soon, but right here at the Las Vegas Bitcoin conference, you can see this elaborate wall that the sponsors have put together for him that are really showing the level of support that he has received from the Bitcoin community. To give you some background, Ross Ulbricht was the founder of a website called The Silk Road, which is known for being a marketplace for black market goods, including a lot of drugs that were sold through there. But Ross didn't sell the drugs, he just built the marketplace. Yet the government went after him. They charged him with the same offense that I was charged with, continuing criminal enterprise. And a federal judge sentenced him to serve 2 life terms. President Trump commuted Ross's sentence on January the 21st, 2025, on his first day of office, just as he made a promise. And the Bitcoin community really rallied around Ross all the way through his prison term. And his life story is one that represents freedom. In fact, he's going to be giving a keynote speech here at the Bitcoin conference on the big Nakamoto stage. And I look forward to connecting with him and hopefully bringing him into the prison professors community. But you could see one of the things that they built on this wall is they're holding an auction to help providing with more resources. And one of the things that you'll see here is things that some of you are familiar with. A prison ID card that he's auctioning off with news about it. A second ID card right here from while he was in USP Florence. A third ID card is there that is available. This is Ross Ulbricht's most recent prison ID card, the one he walked out of prison with. The guard threatening to revoke his visiting prison unless he updated the photo. There's his work on the Challenge program, which is a popular program in high security penitentiaries where Ross was a mentor. These are some of the paintings that are being auctioned off that he painted. Is an oil painting created by Ross while he was with another person while he was at USP Tucson. Here's the prison painting archway, painted at USP Tucson with a fellow named Omega. It reflects Ross's emotional response to an image of an archway. This is something better and beyond. And here is Disconnect, is a collaborative oil painting by Ross and Omega, who taught Ross to paint during their time at USP Tucson. The piece is signed Ross to reflect their shared authorship. I tried to capture the feeling of being disconnected from the world and from my future, locked away, disoriented, losing my sense of self. Many of you may be familiar with this type of gray uniform, which is popular in prisons. Here is the laundry bag that we had to use for many years, where we'd store our laundry. You just throw that laundry bag would go into the institution's laundry services. You had to wear your name tag on shirts or on your clothing. Later in the journey, I didn't have to do that in the beginning part of my prison term, but later I did. You got here the padlocks, which we're all familiar with, and prison locker lock. This is the pre-arrest backpack. This is what he had before they took his liberty away in 2013. That was around the same time that I finished my prison sentence. And then here are the prison shoes, which he described as the most comfortable pair of shoes he ever had while he was serving 12 years in high security United States penitentiaries. So there's a lot to learn from all of these things that I see here, because I've frequently written about Bitcoin being very much like my work, the evolution of Bitcoin being very much like my work in changing America's prison system and the way that we measure America's prison system. In my view, we've got to change the way we measure justice. Instead of waiting for calendar pages to turn, we should be measuring justice by how hard an individual works to earn liberty, to earn freedom. And Bitcoin is also about freedom, about not allowing the government to dictate the value of money and print money whenever it wants, but rather to provide individuals with sovereignty over their own financial future with a decentralized finance that doesn't have anything to do with the U.S. government or any other government. It's called Fiat currency, And what does it say here on some of this artwork? It says here, you don't seem to understand you are in prison. If you are to get out of prison, the first thing you must realize is you are in prison. If you think you're free, you can't escape. Interesting artwork, right? And that is this is a big challenge that people have, is figuring out how to change the world. So, it says Satoshi there. That's interesting. I don't know. There must be some artistic play on the word of Satoshi. But Bitcoin must have been a very difficult thing to get from where it began to where it is today. And it only happened because of people who worked hard to try and change the mindset that had existed for hundreds of years. Just like we have to work together to change the mindset of what prisons should do and who we should incarcerate and how long they should serve. So this is filthy fiat money. Filthy Fiat is an unintentionally generative art series created from a decayed stack of US dollars buried as part of a survival plan in 2020. Years later, the cash emerged as a mold-infested brick, unspendable and rejected by the bank. The series was born. Filthy Fiat highlights the fragility of fiat currency. Bitcoin fixes this. Incorruptible, decentralized, and immune to physical disfate. The only thing you got to remember are your passwords. In any event, I just wanted to share this work with as many people as possible to show the work that I do in trying to change America's prison system and to try and help people in prison understand what steps they can take to build a better life. You'd be cool.